All right, I'm going to go live in just a moment here. Oh, we already got people in. I don't even have to wait. Let's get going. All right, welcome back to WMMA Scene now with your host, Chuck Stevenson. Welcome to episode 140 of the WMMA Report, somewhat regular show where we go over everything going on within the ladies' divisions of mixed martial arts. Tonight, we're going to roast the duck. We're going to talk about a crazy chick, and then we got a special announcement. First time going live in a while, just haven't been able to get to it lately, but it's a new month. Let's get back down into everything. First, we're going to start where we always start. By the way, before we get started on everything, if you're on Twitter, you can follow me at NowWMMA. If you're not on Twitter, stay off of Twitter. It's never been good, and it's never going to get good. But if you are on Twitter, go ahead and follow me at NowWMMA. I get a lot of updates. I share my latest videos. I do a lot of live tweeting during fights that I'm following. So it's a good follow if you're on there. What else? That's about it. So let's start where we always start, though, with the weekend results. So first up, we're going to Milan, Italy for Bellator 287 Piccolotti versus Barnui, a.k.a. Bellator Milan. We had a strawweight bout where Chiara Penko defeated Manuela Marcanetto via split decision. Penko climbed to 8-3. Marcanetto fell to 3-2. I disagree strongly with the result of this fight. I don't know how many people watched it. It was on the prelims, so it was free to watch on YouTube, at least in the excuse me, at least in the US, it was free to watch. But one judge had it 29-28 Penko. One judge had it 29-28 Marcanetto. And then the third judge, and I swear this happens too often in split decisions where you have one judge split 2 rounds to 1, another judge split for the other fighter 2 rounds to 1, and then the third judge has it 3-0. I don't know how you give 3 rounds to Chiara Penko. I highly disagree with this decision. Judy V in the chat. How you doing, Judy? Haven't seen you in a while. Says, I think Marcanetto was robbed. It's hard to disagree. Hard to disagree. I think this is a bad decision, and one judge seeing it 3-0 for Penko is really bad. I hope the Bellator runs this one back sometime. I think this is a fight that needs to be run back. I just didn't see Penko doing enough to win. And the stats, I saw the stats on this fight later on. Marcanetto posted them, I think, on her Instagram. And I'm not normally one to say the stats tell the story of the fight because a lot of the times they don't. The stats in this one are really, really telling. The stats on this one just did not line up, with the result of the fight. But you can go ahead and check it out. It's on Bellator's YouTube. It's like 2/3 of the way through the prelims for this past weekend. Then we had AFC 21 in Vietnam. I forgot one, didn't I? Okay, pre-AFC. No, I'm sorry. No, this is the right order. Excuse me. AFC 21 in Vietnam, the Korean promotion traveled for the first time outside of their country, had a 110-pound bout of 50 kilograms, where Truc Nguyen defeated Chae Sung-un via submission, via submission due to guillotine in the first round. Both were making their pro debut. Truc Nguyen climbed to 1-0. Chae fell to 0-1. Okay, look at the age difference here. 30 to 15. It looked like Chae was the much taller fighter. I mean, there's a 10-centimeter difference, but she fought like an inexperienced 15-year-old. Like, she was aggressive, which was nice, but as soon as Truc was able to get her into a standing guillotine, she seemed kind of stuck, and then she made a bigger mistake of taking Nguyen down And that was a big mistake there because once she took her down, almost immediately she was tapping out. So, yeah, maybe 15 years old shouldn't be making a pro debut. I don't know Che very well at all. I don't know if she has any amateur background at all. It seemed like they were just given a gimme fight for the local fighter in Nguyen there. Then on Sunday night, we had a rare Sunday night event for Combate Global. We had a flyweight, actually this is like the post limb really, a flyweight bout where Melissa Amaya defeated Alexa Mariscal via submission due to triangle choke in the third round. Amaya climbed to 4-0, or excuse me, 5-0. Mariscal fell to 2-4. I did a full review on this fight, and it's getting some good views. Definitely check that out after this program if you want to. But it was Melissa Amaya gave a very good account of herself on Sunday night. It's a bit of a gimme fight. Alexa Mariscal moving up in weight again to take on this fight. Apparently, it was short notice for both fighters, so can't really comment too much on that. But Melissa Amaya, I like what I saw from her. Really nice use of her height and reach, which a lot of fighters just don't seem to know how to do that. But she did, so good for her. So that is it for the weekend review. So now we move on into, do I have a banner up yet? No, won't bother. Okay, into the news. So I actually have like 2 pages worth of news. I'm going to skip over most of them and stick to the stuff that I feel you're going to be most interested in, but I'll be keeping an eye on everything here. First up, Aries 10 goes down December 8th in Paris. They added a strawweight bout. Asia Miri coming in at 1-0, taking on Fabiola Padroni coming in at 4-0. I watched Asia Miri's pro debut. That young lady can strike. She is lightning fast, hits hard, Muay Thai style, very pleasant to watch. I think I've watched Padroni fight before. I can't remember offhand, but I'm definitely going to be keeping an eye out for that one. Then we have UFC Fight Night goes down November 19th in Vegas. I have the flyweight bout, Natalia Silva taking on Teresa Bleda. I'm really looking forward to that one. I made an individual video on it. And then also UFC has an event going down January 14th, so a little bit away. They've added a bantamweight bout, Ketlin Vieira taking on Raquel Pennington. Got to think that might just be a #1 contenders bout because Vieira's coming off of her win over Holly Holm. I think Pennington's coming off of a bout up at featherweight. So you got to think that could be very well could be a bantamweight title eliminator bout. What else? One championship, 163 goes down November 19th in Singapore. They added one atomweight bout between Sahi Ham and Itsuki Harata. Did a video on that one as well. If you want to go check it out. Ham's kind of getting screwed here. This is a high risk, low reward fight for her. Harata has everything to gain and nothing really to lose from this bout. We'll see. I think Ham wins it, but I just don't like it. Just think one championship is trying to screw her. UFC 283 goes down January 21st in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. They added a flyweight bout. Lauren Murphy taking on Jessica Andrade. So Andrade just coming off a win down there in strawweight, moving back up to flyweight now. I wish she would kind of pick a division. I just think she needs to pick a division and stay in it. But I like that fight. Lauren Murphy, you know, she's tough as nails. She's tough as worn out shoe leather. And Andrade is a beast of a machine. It's like unmovable object versus unstoppable force. I think that's kind of what that fight is going to be like. Then we have UFC Fight Night going down February 4th in Seoul, South Korea. UFC going back to South Korea for only the 3rd time. They've added a flyweight bout. Ji-yeon Kim taking on Mandy Bohm, and this has got to be a loser leaves town fight. Has to be. Jeon Kim is on a losing streak. Mandy Bohm is winless inside the octagon. I think Jeon Kim can get this one done, but we'll see. But it's got to be a losers leave town match. What else? ARC number 8 goes down November 13th in Seoul, South Korea. They've added a minus 55 kilogram catch bout. Jun Lee taking on Jun Kim. If you've never watched any of the ARC events, they're pretty fun. It's kind of like a special rule. They're all like special rules bouts in that they're like 3-minute rounds, MMA, limited ground time. It's all about reaching out to those like the Generation Z short attention span mindset. They also give special cash bonuses for anyone who finishes a fight within the first 30 seconds. So they're interesting to watch. Although I don't think a ladies bout for ARC has ended in a finish yet. Then One Championship 164 goes down December 3rd in Manila. They added a strawweight, which is a 125-pound bout. Jenilyn Olsum taking on Mung Bo. I believe, I have to look this up here real quick. I think both fighters are coming in off of a loss. I know Mung Bo has lost 2 straight. Let me see. Oh, Jenilyn Olsum's coming in off of a win over Julie Mesa Barba back at 158 in June. So Olsum moving back up in weight to strawweight, taking on Mung Bo, who's staying there for now. This is a crucial fight for Mung Bo. You really don't want to be down 0-3 in your last 3. Very crucial fight for her. And then Invicta FC 50 goes down November 16th in Denver. I'll tell you what, I'm excited for this one. They have a strawweight championship tournament, 4-woman tournament. They've brought in Valeska Machado, Gloria DePaula, UFC veteran, Ileana Silva, and Karolina Wojcik. Machado and Wojcik are both Dana White Contender Series veterans. DePaula, obviously a UFC veteran. So those are your 4 contestants. So it's 4 ladies. They're going to fight twice, or, the winners will fight twice. The winner at the end of the night will be the new Invicta FC strawweight champion. And unlike the previous Phoenix tournaments, where you had like a single round quarterfinals, a single round semifinals, and then a 3-round finals, the semifinals and the finals will each be 3 5-minute rounds apiece. So this is going to be an interesting tournament. And they're fighting twice in one night, potentially 15 minutes each fight, and it's in Denver. Elevation. It's going to be nuts. It's going to be nuts. Meanwhile, they have 2 strawweight tournament alternate bouts. They brought in Sharon Jacobson taking on Melissa Odessa. It's going to be one alternate. And then Fatima Klein versus Danny McCormick. Bellator veteran Danny McCormick is going to be the other alternate. Those are 2 good fights themselves. And then they also have 2 bantamweight bouts on the card. Katarina Leonard, Ultimate Fighter veteran, taking on Toledo Bernardo, UFC veteran. And then we have Claire Guthrie, recent Ultimate Fighter veteran, taking on Marilia Marias, who is a newcomer to Invicta. Sorry, I'm just really thirsty tonight. This is a good card. This is a great card from Invicta. A lot of people are saying, Invicta hasn't been all that great lately. Well, this is something to watch. I wish I was able to go, but unfortunately my boss is on vacation, so I can't take vacation. Also in the news, Deep 111th Impact goes down December 11th in Tokyo. They've added an atomweight bout. Nisei Mizuki Oshiro taking on I Am Murakami. That should be a fun one. Probably, though, ends with Murakami in submission. And then finally in the news, FAC 17 goes down December 9th in Missouri. It's going to be available on UFC Fight Pass. We have a bantamweight bout. Gina Mazzani, UFC veteran, taking on Elizabeth Schroeder. And then we have Invicta veteran Alexa Culp taking on Whitney Powles. That's going to be a flyweight bout. Both fights goes down FAC 17 December 9th. That's going to be on UFC Fight Pass. Keep an eye out. FAC is not bad at shows, you know. Very, very regional flavor in that it's all like heavily leaning towards like local, like Missouri, Kansas fighters, but still, they're all right, you know. So that's it for the news. So I don't have any rankings updates for you because there really weren't any major events, this past weekend, or there weren't any ladies fights in major events this past weekend that would change the rankings. I mean, there was Bellator Milan, but that fight was at strawweight, and Bellator doesn't really have a strawweight division. So no rankings updates. So let's go ahead and get on into the weekend preview. By the way, before we do that, we've got a few people watching. The chat is open, so feel free to say hello. All right, weekend preview. First up, tomorrow on UFC Fight Pass, we have Aries FC 9, Lapilas versus Ayub 2. We have 2 ladies bouts, both of them in the bantamweight division. First up, we have Ioni Raza Fiorazon, a Bellator veteran, taking on Rizlan Zoak. This should be a good fight. These two used to train together back in the day, so they know each other pretty well. And this should make for a good bout here. Let's take a look at the stats here. Raza Fiorazon comes in at 7-3. The Lioness of the Atlas, Rizlan Zoak, coming in at 6-5. Now, Fiorazon is coming in off of a win at UAE Warriors 7 months ago, but preceded by 2 losses. Although, man, that bout 7 months ago, that was her first fight in like 3 years. And then Zoak, she's been pretty active, but she's been like alternating wins and losses. She's coming off of a decision loss to Melissa Dixon 3 months ago for Aries. Before that, fought 7 months ago for Aries, coming in off of a decision win. So she's, yeah, basically alternating. Age, very similar. 37 for Fiorazon, 36 for Zoak. Zoak is slightly taller at 5 feet 5 inches, 165 centimeters to 5 feet 3 inches, 160 centimeters for Raza Fiorazon. This is going to be a good one. You know, like I said, both of these ladies have trained together. They know each other. It's just going to be a matter of who got the better of the other in their training bout. Who is getting the better of the other in their training sessions is what I want to say. And can they repeat that here? I think Zoak being more active recently is going to help her a lot more than, Fiorazon only fighting once in the last 3.5 years. I'm going to go with Rizlan Zoak. I'm not far from 100% on that one, but I'm going to go with Rizlan. Then we have another bantamweight bout. Daria Zalesnyakova taking on Melissa Dixon. A battle of undefeated fighters here. Zalesnyakova coming in at 7-0. Dixon coming in at 4-0. Zalesnyakova coming in off a win 5 months ago over Liana Jojua in Aries. Dixon coming in off of that win over Rizlan Zoak 4 months ago. So both very active recently. Let's see. Zalesnyakova is the younger fighter, 26-31. And she is the taller fighter as well, 5 feet 9 inches, 175 centimeters to 5 feet 7 inches, 170 centimeters for Melissa Dixon. I'm going with Daria Zalesnyakova here. I've seen several of her fights. She's very good. I think she could be on a fast track to the UFC. and a win here, moving up to 8-0 on UFC Fight Pass. Could get her there. I'm not saying like I'm super hyped on her or anything, but yeah, I like what I've seen from her so far. So I'm going to take Zalesnyakova. So then we have Combate, and oh, by the way, that's tomorrow on UFC Fight Pass. So a weird Thursday event. Then Saturday we have, or Friday night, we have Combate Global, where, oh shoot, there's no typology on this. Hold on one second, I got to look this up. Okay, we've got Combate Global, atomweight main event. Daniela Hernandez from out of Mexico taking on Andrea Meneses out of Spain. Both ladies are undefeated. I believe Hernandez is 3-0 or 4-0. And Meneses is either 4-0 or 5-0. So I don't have the stats available because for whatever reason, Combate or Tapology, they're not up on Tapology yet. But Combate Global, Paramount Plus in English, Univision or TUDN in Spanish. Atomweight main event. Support the young lady, support the small girls here. I'm going with Andrea Meneses, by the way. Although Hernandez looks very strong in the wrestling, and that could help her out a lot. But I'm going to go with the Spaniard here, Meneses. So then we go to Saturday, UFC Fight Night, Rodriguez versus Lemos. First up, we have a bantamweight bout. Ramona Pascual taking on Tamiris Vidal. Pascual coming in at 6-4. Trattora, Tamiris Vidal coming in at 6-1. Pascual could be do or die for her here. She's 0-2 in the UFC right now. Last lost to Jocelyn Edwards via decision 3 months ago. Vidal last fought 7 months ago for LFA. Let's see, 10-year age difference here. Vidal is 10 years younger, 24 to 34 for Pascual. Looks like Pascual has a height advantage, slight 5'7", 170 centimeters to 5'5", 165 centimeters for Vidal. No reach listed for Vidal. Pascual 66.1 inch, 168 centimeters. I don't know. I just don't know on this one. Sorry, I have a migraine. I can't trust Pascual. I like Ramona Pascual. I'll be cheering for her, but I can't trust her to win. And Vidal, I don't know. I don't know anything about her really. I haven't had time to look up any of her fights. I mean, she's on a nice win streak. Looks like she lost her second bout, but has won 5 straight since then, finishing 3 of them. Well, no. She won a DQ in one of them. So 2 by decision, 2 by finish, and 1 by DQ. That's weird. She won a DQ against that twerking girl, Island Perez. I don't have a pick on this one. And I know people always ask, well, who do you think is going to win? And people want me to make picks. I just don't have one for this one. I don't trust Pascual anymore. And I just don't know enough about Vidal. Although, obviously, she's crazy, as you can tell by the pierced septum. That is like a sure sign that the girl is crazy. Next, we have a strawweight bout. Polyana Viana taking on Jinyu Fry. I'm looking forward to this one. Let's see here. Viana coming in at 12-5. Yu Fry coming in at 11-6. Both ladies coming off a loss, preceded by 2 straight wins. For Viana, she lost to Tabitha Ricci 4 months ago. Then before that had wins over Emily Whitmire and Mallory Martin, both by armbar. For Fry, she lost a split decision to Vanessa Demopoulos. Before that had 2 decision wins over Gloria DePaula and Ashley Yoder. Let's see here. Viana is the younger fighter. She's 30 to Fry's 37. Viana's going to be slightly taller at 5 feet 5 inch 165 centimeters to 5 feet 3 inch 160 centimeters for Fry. And Viana has the reach advantage 67 inch 170 centimeters to 65 inch 165 centimeters for Fry. I'm going with Jin on this one. I'm going with Jin Yu Fry. I'm not 100% confident in that pick, but Viana, how do I put this? She's so inconsistent. Like, she's very, very inconsistent. On the feet, it's definitely Jin's game. On the ground, I think she'll be able to avoid that armbar that Viana likes. So I like Jin's consistency within fights. Obviously, she's not consistent from fight to fight. And that loss against Demopoulos didn't make her look good, but I like Jin's consistency within fights. And that's why I'm taking her. Then we have a is this flyweight? Flyweight bout. Yep. Miranda Maverick taking on Shanna Young. Fear the Maverick coming in at 10-4. The Shanimal coming in at 8-4. Much like the last fight, both ladies coming in off of a win, preceded by 2 losses. For Maverick, she's coming off a submission win over Sabina Mazo 6 months ago, preceded that by 2 straight losses to Macy Barber and then Erin Blanchfield. For Young, she's coming in off of a win over Gina Mazzani via TKO 4 months ago, preceded that with losses to Macy Chasson and then up a bantamweight, and then lost to Stephanie Egger via ground and pound. Both those fights, were at bantamweight. Let's see. Maverick is the younger fighter, 25 to 31. Young is taller at 5'7", 170 centimeters to 5'3", 161 centimeters for Maverick. They have pretty much identical reach, though. 65.5 inch, 166 centimeters for Maverick to 65 inch, 165 centimeters for Young. So these two actually fought once before, with Maverick coming out the winner. And it was at the Invicta Phoenix Series 2. And it was in the, I want to say the, did Young win a fight before that? It was in, in the semifinals of the Invicta Phoenix Series for the flyweights. And Maverick defeated Young via submission due to rear naked choke, 2 minutes, 35 seconds. So they only had 5 minutes to fight each other, and Maverick submitted her. I don't see what either of these two have done differently. I certainly don't see, I should say, what Young has done since that time to give me enough confidence that she'll beat Maverick this time. I just don't. So I'm going to go with Miranda Maverick to win this one. Easy E in the chat. You haven't missed anything yet. Mostly just in the middle of the weekend preview. So you did, I guess you did miss the weekend results in the news. So we move to the main event. Sorry about that. I removed myself from the studio. Don't know how that happened. I hit the wrong button, that's why. Whew. That's enough to make you nervous. Anyway, we're going on to the main event. Marina Rodriguez taking on Amanda Lemos. This is a pretty important bout here for the UFC rankings. They're both ranked within the top 10 of the strawweight rankings. Let me pull them up here real quick. Strawweight. Marina Rodriguez is at number 3. Lemos is at 7. So this is a big chance for Lemos to jump up those rankings. Dangerous fight for both fighters. You know, Lemos has that power. Rodriguez doesn't have so much one-punch power, but, you know, she can put strikes together consistently. This should be a good one. So number 3 taking on number 7. Rodriguez coming in at 16-1-2. Lemos coming in at 12-2-1. Rodriguez has won 4 straight. Most recently defeated Yan Xiaonan via split decision 7 months ago. Before that, had a unanimous decision over Mackenzie Dern. Lemos coming in off of the submission win over Michelle Watterson 3 months ago. Before that, had the submission loss to Jessica Andrade. Both are the same age, 35 years old. So it's at that point where it's do or die for both of them. I mean, Rodriguez has definitely been more consistent and has been fighting, you know, tougher competition. Lemos, they've really been trying to push her up the ladder. I mean, really been trying to push her up the ladder fast because of the age. Rodriguez is the taller fighter, 5 feet 6 inches, 168 centimeters to 5 feet 4 inches, 163 centimeters. The reach, however, is identical at 65 inches, 165 centimeters. My pick here is going to be for Marina Rodriguez. I think she's more consistent fighter from round to round. She puts her strikes together much better. Lemos winds up too much. Like, I was watching her fight against Watterson again recently, and she really winds up on those power shots. And I think she's going to have a hard time hitting Rodriguez with that. And I think that even though the reach is technically identical, the height favors Rodriguez, and so the height combines with the reach. I think Rodriguez should be able to keep Lemos on the outside of her shots. But if it goes to the clinch, it's definitely going to be Rodriguez's game. On the ground, I don't see it going to the ground too much. If it does, I think it'll be Lemos taking it there. 5 rounds, though. 5 rounds. Definitely favors Rodriguez. She's been here before. I want to say she's been here twice before. Was it Dern that her fight? Yeah, she's been here twice before. She's been in 5-round main events twice before, Rodriguez has. Against Watterson and then against Dern. So she's been in this territory. Lemos hasn't. And we've seen Lemos get tired in 3-round fights before. She got tired against Angela Hill. But that doesn't give you much confidence in a 5-round fight. And most of her fights end, you know, kind of early in finishes. So, yeah, I think definitely Rodriguez definitely wants to try to drag this out more. And I think she can. And I think that's going to hurt Lemos. Because when you're trying to, you know, winding up on those power shots and putting everything into them, trying to get that finish, that wears you out. So I'm going to go with Marina Rodriguez to win this one. So then finally, Sunday, early Sunday morning or late Saturday night. I don't know what time it's starting. Rise and Landmark 4 is going to be in Nagoya. So this isn't a numbered Ryzen card. This is one of their landmark cards for whatever reason. Anyway, the super atomweight bout, 108 pounds. Satomi Takano, a.k.a. Sarami, taking on Laura Fontoura. So Sarami coming in at 16-13. Fontoura coming in at 7-1. Both ladies coming in off of recent losses in Ryzen. Sarami to Kana Asakura 6 months ago. Fontoura to Seika Izawa about 2.5 months ago. And that was a very fun fight. Age here, big age difference, 10 years. Fontoura is 22. Takano is 32. I don't think this is right here on the height. Topology has the height listed as Fontoura 5'5", 165 centimeters. That I believe. But they have Takano listed at 5'0", 152 centimeters. I'm not sure that's correct. I think she's a little bit taller than 5 foot even. Anyway, this is I'm not actually going to watch this one. I'm not paying for Ryzen landmark card. Doesn't really interest me too much. Nothing on this card interests me enough. But if you want to watch it, I think you have to go to Ryzen Live to watch it. I'm not. And I don't really have a pick on this one. Fontoura could catch Sarami in an early sub, though. Fontoura is dangerous. Anyway, that is it. All I have for the weekend preview. So we've got a couple discussion topics I want to talk about. First one I want to talk about is going to be Manon Fiorot. We've got some roasting to do. A special kind of roasting to do. Okay. So let me share the screen again. It says Manon Fiorot believes her striking ability could give UFC champ Valentina Shevchenko trouble. Shout out to WMMA rankings on this one. They're back. They've got a great layout now. Was never a fan of their previous layouts. And I like what they're doing so far with their coverage. It's not like clickbait. They're doing some really good work. So I got to give credit where it's due. They're doing good work. It says surging UFC flyweight contender Manon Fiorot believes she has the ability to give Valentina Shevchenko trouble in the striking department. She defeated Katlyn Chookagian via unanimous decision at UFC 280, blah, blah, blah. Here's the important part, and I'm going to share the screen here, and I'll highlight it. I just saw Valentina fight against Katlyn, and she didn't strike against her. She only used her wrestling and her judo throws. I think I can do a very good stand-up fight against her. I think I have the wrestling defense and offense to improve and to show I can win against Valentina, she explained. But then, here's what I don't understand. During the UFC 280 post-fight press conference on Saturday, Fiorot said she would ideally like one more fight before going on to challenge Shevchenko for the belt. What's up with that? If you think your striking could give her trouble and you think you have the wrestling defense and offense to win, to show you can win, why do you need one more fight? You just beat the #1 contender. So why the heck do you need one more fight? Then let's look at this one. Courtesy of Cage Chat MMA. It says, let me tell you, I never say no when the UFC team asks about an opponent. Never. 2 days before the fight, I never say no. I agree. I think a fight with Alexa Grasso is a good choice. Alexa, call us. She talked about the fight. She called for the winner of me and Katlyn. So I have to say yes. For sure, I'd do this. I think she's a good striker, and it's a good fight for the fans in the division. Whoa, 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 whoa. Alexa Grasso is number 5 in the rankings. Number 5. Fiorot just beat the number 1 fighter, Katlyn Chookagian. And now, let's look at the rankings here. Look at the rankings here. Who's number 1? Manon Fiorot. Where's Grasso? Number 5. You just beat the number 1 fighter. Why are you calling out number 5? There's only one way to go when you beat the number 1 contender. Right up to the champ. Right up to the champ. I'm sorry. Where you at, Manon fans? Because we roasting this duck. This is a duck roast. You don't fight the number 1 contender. Beat the number 1 contender and then call out number 5. That's a duck. That is a duck, a duck, a duck. How are you going to say, oh, I think I've got the striking to beat her, and I think I can do blah, 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 blah. But I want to fight one more. Give me number 5, Alexa Grasso instead. Quack, quack, quack. Anything other than I want the title. You just beat the number 1 contender. You just beat the number 1 ranked fighter, Katlyn Chookagian. You're the only other flyweight not named the champion on the roster to do so. Why are you calling out number 5 and not the champ after saying you've got the striking to beat her? Quack, quack, quack. There's no other way to put this. This is a duck. And you know what? People were calling Alexa Grasso a duck for saying she needed another fight before facing Valentina. Well, Grasso was at number 5 and just beat number 6. So if Grasso saying she needs another fight is a duck, then what does that make Manon Fiorot, who just beat the number 1 fighter, and then saying, oh, I needed one more fight. Let me fight the number 5 fighter. What is that if not a duck? And that's why we're roasting this duck, Manon Fiorot. And you know what? The worst part is? A lot of the people calling Grasso a duck haven't said anything about Manon Fiorot. I'm sorry, but if Grasso's a duck for wanting one more fight after beating number 6, what does that? Fiorot's the duck of ducks for beating number 1 and then saying, I want one more fight before the champ. Give me number 5. That is the queen duck. That is the queen duck right there. Nah. Quack, quack, quack goes the French duck. There's no other way to it. There's no other excuse. It's a straight up duck. You just beat number 1. Why are you trying to move down in the rankings? Other than the fact that you're just afraid. You really don't believe your striking can beat Valentina. You don't believe you have what it takes to beat Valentina. Why not just come out and say it? Oh, because you don't want to sound like a duck. Maybe I guess I could use one more. Then why would you fight number 1? Hey, if you don't want to fight the champ, don't fight the number 1 contender. I never say no to a fight. Well, you should have said no to the number 1. Because if you're not ready to fight the champ after beating number 1, then you shouldn't have been fighting number 1, period. Because to beat number 1 and then say you're not ready for the champ yet, that's a duck. That's all there is to it. We're roasting this duck tonight. Manon Fiorot is a duck. That's why she's on this roast duck, because we're roasting this duck tonight. Nothing. Ugh. And yeah, I am a little salty because people were calling Grasso a duck, and I'm a Grasso fan. But guess what? Grasso did wasn't anywhere near as bad as what Manon's doing. Grasso beat number 6. She beat someone ranked below her. And then people are, well, she's ducking that fade with She's ducking that fade with Valentina. She's ducking that fade. She don't want that smoke with Valentina. She beat number 6. Number 5 saying, hey, want someone ranked a little bit higher than me before I fight the champ. Come on. That's nothing compared to beats the number 1 ranked fighter and then says, well, I want to fight the number 5. I'm calling out the number 5 fighter. Quack, quack, quack. These Manon fanboys ain't got anything to say. Let me check out what's going on in the chat here. Easy E says, Rodriguez and Lemos going to be a pretty good scrap. I can't call this one. I don't blame you. Lemos is going to have to catch her early to win, though. I think you're right. Judy V says, Thanksgiving duck. I've never had duck. I've heard it's greasy. Easy E said, just because she believes it doesn't mean she can achieve it. Well, that's true, too. I'm definitely not a Valentina fan, but that's easy money for Val. Whenever Chikagian is not impressive to me or anyone for that matter. I disagree. That particular win wasn't that impressive, but if a win over Chikagian was easy, everyone would be able to do it. Easy E says, might as well give Grasso the shot now, LOL. Honestly, I think Grasso beats Manon. I think she has the speed to beat Manon. Manon's not that very fast. Like, she's long and lanky, but she doesn't have power, really. She mostly just has a 1-2-3 punch combination and the front kick, and that's about it. Grasso is a much more creative striker, has a deeper arsenal. But yes, Manon Fiorot, duck. Next, we're going to talk about Cyborg, talking crazy as usual. More crazy talk from Cris Cyborg. Starts with this article here. Says Cris Cyborg, everyone calls Amanda Nunes women's MMA GOAT, but it's not just about one fight. Let me go ahead and enlarge it so you all can read it with me. Says Cris Cyborg doesn't agree with Amanda Nunes being called the greatest female MMA fighter of all time. By the way, before I go further, shout out to MMA Junkie for the article. Says Nunes, who currently holds both the UFC featherweight and bantamweight titles, took the crown for greatest female fighter, according to many, when she knocked out Cyborg in the first round at UFC 232 in December 2018. The loss to Nunes snapped Cyborg's 14-year unbeaten run. Quote, You guys call Amanda GOAT, but man, she has more losses than me. She doesn't stay 14 years undefeated, Cyborg said in an interview with Henry Cejudo. Okay, I lost the fight against her. Yeah, but it happens. Sometimes it's not your day. Sometimes it happens. But the history, how long, it's not just about one fight. Well, you know what, Cyborg? You're right. It's not just about one fight. It's not. It is about strength of competition. Strength of competition matters more than anything. And when it comes to strength of competition, Amanda Nunes has you beat by far. You might have had a 14-year unbeaten streak, but guess what? The names on it aren't nearly as strong as the names Amanda Nunes has beaten. Ronda Rousey, Holly Holm, finished Holly Holm, unlike you, Misha Tate. Juliana Pena. Now I got to look up Amanda Nunes to bring up some of the names she's beaten. Valentina Shevchenko. Twice. Jermaine Durandami. You. Sarah McMahon. Julia Budd. Finished Julia Budd faster than you ever did. Strength of competition matters, Cyborg. Okay, let's look at. You say, oh, it doesn't come down to one fight. She beat you in less than a minute. Less than a minute. You're talking crazy. Oh, it doesn't come down to one fight. You're right. But her strength of competition is way stronger than yours. Now we got, here's a little clip from the video interview she did. Hopefully it'll play for you guys.
Can I tell you something about that fight where I feel like kind of went wrong for you? I think once you...
Let me try to refresh that. See if I can enlarge this.
Something about that fight where I feel like kind of went wrong for you? I think once you got hit, I could see your emotion.
Get it mad. Can I tell the real stuff? Yeah. Can I tell the real? Make it real? Yeah.
Let me know if you can't hear that. She lost it over a low kick. She got kicked in the leg, couldn't take it, and lost her composure. Why? Because she's never been in there with anyone who could actually hurt her. She was never in there with anyone who wasn't afraid of her.
Nobody say this? Okay, this camp was hectic.
By the way, this is what steroids does to you. Big old moon face and large jaw. This, ladies, stay off steroids.
I just learned this word.
You know, we could have the rematch with the Manon Nunes. We have the potential match with Kayla Harrison. And honestly, we have Katie Taylor. If you had to pick one of those.
So asking about 3 potential fights. A potential rematch with Amanda Nunes, Kayla Harrison, and a boxing match with Katie Taylor.
3 opponents. Who would it be, Chris?
Here's when the crazy really starts.
I want to know. I'm like Mr. Gossip over here.
You know, if you think about it, if Amanda Nunes get out of the UFC, then the match can happen.
If Amanda Nunes get out of the UFC, then a rematch could happen. Why would Amanda Nunes ever want to leave the UFC? She's a double champ there. She's making great money. Where is she going to go that's going to pay her the same amount of money as the UFC? Where? Where is Amanda Nunes going to go where she actually gets the headline pay-per-views? Where is she going to go that's going to pay her base pay equal to what she makes in the UFC? If Amanda Nunes ever gets out of the UFC, maybe if you hadn't destroyed your chances in the UFC by posting a doctored video about Dana White. As it is, you're on the outs. She's not. Why would she ever leave the UFC? This is that crazy talk.
If it continues to UFC, it's hard to happen.
Well, guess what? She's not leaving the UFC, so it's not happening. Now she's going to talk about Kayla Harrison.
Kayla Harrison, we're in the same division, but I believe that this fight, if the fans like this fight.
Kayla Harrison, we're not the same division? Right. She fights at lightweight, 155, and you fight at featherweight, 145. God forbid, you should ever have to move up in weight to fight anybody. Cris Cyborg. God forbid you should ever have to move up in weight to fight somebody. Instead of you being the weight bully. God forbid you give up weight to anybody in your entire career. The same fighter who was once accusing bantamweight fighters of cowardice for not moving up to fight her. God forbid you move up 10 pounds to fight Kayla Harrison. And her argument would be, well, Kayla Harrison can make 145. Maybe she should come down. How about you how about you cut 10 less pounds? You're always talking about how you're dying making weight. Move up 10 pounds. But God forbid you ever give up weight to somebody.
But we're in different organizations, but it used to happen for promotion. We can't fight this happen. No, it can't happen.
Oh, by the way, look at this stupid belt she has here. She made this belt herself. It says Cris Cyborg, Grand Slam champion. The ego's out of control here. Cyborg, you're crazy. You're crazy. All right, so finally, wait, let me check on the chat now. Easy E says, I'm a huge Cyborg fan, but the salty needs to go. She didn't respect Nunes, went in there trying to bully her and got knocked clean out. She would have an argument if she fought a smarter fight and it was closer. She would have a better argument, yes. But she didn't fight smart. If you've been following Cyborg's career, she fought like classic Cyborg in there, just wading forward, swinging punches, and hoping she'd be able to bully her opponent, and it didn't work out for her. Judy B says, just like Ronda, both left the UFC after 2 losses. Well, Cyborg had 1 loss. She only has 2 losses on her record, but she lost to Nunes, beat Felicia Spencer, and then her contract was up. Then she released a doctored video about Dana White that was untrue, basically putting those subtitles in there that weren't true. And that Dana White was like, you know what? We're not going to reserve the rights to negotiate with you, and you are released. Judy V says both salty. Yep. All right, so before we get into a special announcement, by the way, if you haven't yet, please hit that like button. It helps drive traffic to the stream. Special announcement time. I've been giving a thought to this topic for quite a while. And I've been looking for the right opportunity to do it. And a couple things, needed to fall into place. And just need to happen at the right time, the right opportunity. And I think the right fighter need to be for the right fighter. But I decided to sponsor a fighter for the first time. So the channel is going to be sponsoring a fighter for the first time. The logo here that you see is going to appear on a fighter's trunks for 2 fights. Entered a 2-fight deal with a fighter for sponsorship. And this fighter said, sometime last month, fighter announced, hey, I've got a fight November 18th, looking for sponsors. And I just thought, is the right fighter, fighting under the right banner to get the exposure. This fighter shows a lot of promise, has a good fighting style, seems to have a good attitude about fighting. And I've been watching her for a while, so I decided to go ahead and, take the leap. And WMMA Scene now is officially sponsoring Combate Global Flyweight Maritza Sanchez. Maritza is currently, I believe, if I remember right, 4-1 as a pro. She is the #1 ranked flyweight in Combate Global, and she is fighting on November 18th. I believe that's the final Combate Global show for 2023. So I don't know if she's the main event or not, but she will be fighting on internationally televised broadcast, Paramount Plus for English, Univision and TUDN for Spanish. I know they have a Mexican network deal as well. You can order their events individually on Facebook if you're international. And I've been keeping my eye on Maritza for a while. And when she made the announcement that she was fighting and taking sponsorships, I said, this is the one. I said, this is the opportunity. I've been wanting to sponsor a fighter for a while, and I'm going to take the leap. So I contacted Maritza. Very cordial. So far the business relationship has gone good. Communication is has been great. You know, she's been not like super quick to reply, but very prompt with replies, timely, very professional sounding. And I like her. I like her fighting style. She's very aggressive. And hey, she's #1 in Combate right now. And on that short list for a title fight. I don't know. As of right now, I don't know who she's fighting. Might not find out until fight week like usual. We'll see. But I'm sure it'll be a decent opponent. And I really wish her well. But I'm really looking forward to this relationship with Maritza. Sponsoring her for 2 weeks. And my logo right there in the lower left-hand corner will be somewhere on her fight shorts, whatever they end up looking like. For 2 fights. So not only this fight, but her next fight as well. She gave me the prices for 1 fight, 2 fight, and 3 fight, and the 2 fight spot deal was hard to resist. Now, this is coming purely out of my own pocket. Yes, the channel is monetized, but it doesn't make money like you would think. Trust me, you don't make good money on YouTube. It's very hard to make good money on YouTube. So this is coming out of my own pocket, but I thought, listen, the opportunity was right. The fighter was right. I have the money to spare on this. So I don't know how often I'll be sponsoring fighters in the future. It'll be on a case-by-case basis. It'll have to be a fighter that, you know, I think shows some promise, or at least a fighter that I like or have kept an eye on for a while. And it has to be, you know, a fight that'll get me some it has to be a fight that'll get some exposure to. And a lot of people say, well, if you didn't get the exposure, then what's the point of, you know, blah, blah, blah. Like the same way a lot of the sponsors left fighters after the UFC banned sponsors. And I would still sponsor fighters even if I couldn't get the exposure, but the exposure definitely helps. But it is, at the end of the day, it is about helping like a young, promising fighter. And that's what this is. So, Maritza, glad to be working with you. Best of luck on November 18th. Hopefully this venture turns out great for both of us. You know, I'm hoping she wins. Hoping she makes the looks great. Hopefully my logo is placed right, that it gets, you know, some exposure during the fight. That would be awesome. But it doesn't matter to me. What matters is that, you know, helping a young fighter, you know, get through their camp, pay for some necessities, whatever. And yeah, I'm just really looking forward to this. Really excited about this. Yeah, I don't know what else to say. I'm just really excited to have done this. And like I said, I don't know how often I'll be sponsoring fighters. It just depends on, you know, the timing, the opportunity, the fighters themselves. But really looking forward to this. So good luck on November 18th, Maritza. Happy to be working with you. Easy E says Dana was ready to pull the plug on Cyborg anyway. Possibly. Nunes gave him a reason. Nunes didn't give him a reason. Cyborg gave him a reason. Cyborg presented that doctored video. If you're in the middle of contract negotiations with a promoter, why would you try to do something to make that promoter look bad? That was silly. Easy E says, very cool. I got to get back into Combate, but I never know when they are having an event. Their promo is horrible. It is. Their promo is horrible. It's usually on Friday nights, almost every Friday night. Go to their website, combateglobal.com, and you can get it in Spanish or English. That's the best way to know when they have events going on. And Judy B says, great. Yeah, this is, I'm excited about this. You know, I've never done this before, and I've been thinking about it for a long time. And this came up, you know, been keeping an eye on Maritza. and she made an announcement that she was fighting in a month. And I waited a week, gave it some thought, and then got in contact with her, and then everything worked out like butter. It was smooth like butter. Everything's going great. Can't wait to see the channel's logo, and very happy to support a fighter like Maritza Sanchez. Judy V says, I read her opponent is Deirdre Begley. Oh, Dee Begley. That'll be a good fight then. Dee Begley's pretty good. Where did you see that, Judy? Any idea where you saw that? I'd like to know. Anyway, that's all I have for you tonight. If you have anything else to say it now in the chat. We've got 6 people watching right now. The chat is open. If you're watching on a replay, let me know your any thoughts on anything really in the comments. Don't forget to hit that like button. We're going to get ready to close out the show. So before we go, like I said, chat is still open. Got any comments left? If you're watching on replay, hit me up in the comments. Let me know your thoughts on anything. We went over a lot of fights. We did reviews. We did news. We did previews. Let me know your thoughts on the Manon Fiorot duck roast. Thoughts on Cyborg talking crazy. Thoughts on sponsorship of Maritza Sanchez. Anything. Let me know your thoughts. Judy V says the underground. So I haven't been on the underground in years. I'm gonna have to check that out. All right, I will check that out. Easy E says Cyborg lost any leverage she had when she lost that fight. That was important, yeah. But yeah, so let me know. Yeah. So thoughts, comments, gripes. Speak now, forever hold your peace. Please hit that like button. I'm going to check on what Judy said about Maritza's opponent. As soon as I can confirm that, I'll definitely let you all know. Meantime, Twitter. If you're on there, follow me at NowWMMA. If you're not on Twitter, stay off of Twitter. But if you're there, give me a follow on Twitter. Like the video. While you're at it, if you haven't yet, what are you waiting for? Hit that subscribe button. WMMA Scene Now, the best, most complete women's mixed martial arts dedicated platform on YouTube. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.